Alright guys, I had a few things come up and I didn't get a chance to start on the the engine block this afternoon, but it's a little bit later at night, so I don't have that much time, but I do want to go ahead and clean some other parts up. I don't know who all goes through the trouble to do all this. I'm sure that a lot of people would have left this in the exhaust manifold connected to the head if they're just changing the head gasket or something. But since I replaced the head, you know, I have pieces here. And it's going to be really hard for me to put something like this back on the car on a brand new head because it is just filthy. I think in the past I called this the intermediary piece, or maybe I called it the intake support, the intake manifold support brace. But I think the actual name for it is a runner. So I think it's just called an intake manifold runner. But anyway, the fuel rail is this piece right here. This is where the fuel line comes in. This is some kind of fuse or sensor or something. But anyway, this is the fuel injectors, and this is the runner's actuator. So yeah, that's what this piece is actually called. So yeah, in all my previous videos, I'm sure people are going to give me hell for it. But I've just been calling. I didn't look up the names of the parts, but when I was disassembling everything, so I was just calling them, you know, whatever I wanted. So I'm going to try to get everyone the correct names for some of these things, so they know what to look up if they need to look up anything. But yeah, so just look up intake manifold runner control, I believe, and that's this piece. So yeah, I'm going to clean this up, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the fuel rail off. I think my rebuild kit came with new O-rings for these injectors, because I'm fairly certain that there is going to be an O-ring in here. There would almost have to be. Let's see what you can see from this side. You can't really tell, but there's got to be an O-ring in here. And as you can tell, this is just filthy. I mean, this is really just filthy. And so it's not enough to just scrape this off and clean this side off. I'm going to try to clean those little butterflies in there off. So, to get this fuel rail off, there's two bolts, it looks like. I think they're 10mm. I'm going to try to buzz those off really quick. Alright, I got the fuel rail pulled off of the runner. I got the actuator unbolted. And I got the injectors removed from the rail. As you can see, they're actually kind of dirty too. And I'm going to put them back in the same order. It doesn't say anything about the order of them in the manual, but I'm just going to put back everything the way it was. And I have the runner itself actually soaking in some purple power. I want to mention briefly about the rebuild kit that I got. I ordered a rebuild kit from, I think it's Mizuno on eBay. I'll put a link to it in the description. For the price, the kit is awesome. It has pretty much everything in there to rebuild the entire engine. You know, head gasket, pistons, rings. For like 20 more bucks you can get the one, or actually for about 10 more bucks you can get the one that also has the head bolts, because the head is torque yield bolts. You got to replace those. It has everything in it. It's a really impressive kit for the money, which is why I got it. Now, although it has all this really nice stuff in it, and O-rings and gaskets, and I can kind of show you what that looks like. I mean, we have some things in here I'm not going to use, like, you know, I think that's some valve seals there. And I think that's, well, that's the valve cover seal. This is for the, if I'm not mistaken, for where the exhaust manifold connects with the catalytic converter. Some various other gaskets. I think some oil pan gaskets. Gaskets for the oil pump. I'm not sure what the big one is there. Head gasket. And that's the tri-metal one, the one that has multiple layers of metal, or whatever it's called. So it has pretty much everything you're going to need. But I noticed something when I was looking through the box. It also came with pistons and rings and bearings for the rods. So it came with all that really awesome stuff, and it was only like 140, 150 bucks. Now I can't say the quality of the pistons or anything. It's just got, you know, average reviews or whatever. But there's no parts list at all on any of this stuff. None whatsoever. There's no little slip in here that says, yeah, there's injector O-rings or O-rings for this and that and that. Because there's a few, and I've already pulled some stuff out of here. This isn't everything. There's a few O-rings that are just like a millimeter difference, you know? And you could easily mistake that for the wrong O-ring if you're just doing a simple job and you just bought this to have spare gaskets and stuff around. So, like, that's for the EGR tube there. You know, most of the stuff you can tell what it is, but the little O-rings and stuff, I'm not sure what all of it is. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. So I gave these guys a call, and I asked them, I said, do you have like a parts list or a sheet you can send me that tells me everything that's in this kit you sent and what it is? So if I know there's only 3 O-rings of, you know, such and such, then I can be able to kind of match it to what's in the kit. And they said, I was told, and this kind of made me laugh a little bit, that usually mechanics order this kit and they don't need to be told what's in it. So keep that in mind if you're a non-mechanic like myself and you're going to order this rebuild kit. You're going to have to figure out what all this stuff is on your own. 95% of it, it's obvious what this stuff is. But, you know, I've got O-rings here, and when I had seen them in the box when I originally opened, I was like, oh yeah, those are for the injectors. But there's only 6 of them. And each injector has 2 O-rings. It has a on the inlet side and on the outlet side. They're the same size. They're just, you know, different colors. And, you know, replacement O-rings aren't always going to be the same color. So I didn't count them while they were in the package, but I assumed there would have been 8 of them. There's only 6. So, like, I'm clueless as to what these are actually for. They're like the exact same size as this. You know, they seem to be the same diameter. I mean, they're just a perfect fit. Maybe a side by side. But anyway, they would work. I mean, they would be like a direct replacement for these. I have no doubt they would fit just like that. But there's only 6 of them, so now I'm just worried that either it didn't come with these, and when you take these out, they're supposed to be replaced, and then I'm gonna have to try to reuse them because these might be for something else that I'm unaware of in the engine, and I just haven't got to that part yet. So I'm just not sure. I really wish there would have been let's just a packing slip just to tell you how many of what and what it's called. And so I would have known there are 6 O-rings that are for something. It should tell you what it's for, what these 6 O-rings are for, and I could have put 2 and 2 together and I would know what these are for. Just be careful when you order from Zuno. I forget the name. I'll list it in the description of this video. But still trying to debate what I should do about this. You know, I may just replace all the bottom ones. Yeah, that may be better. I'm not sure. The top ones look like they're in better shape. Looks like they've had less contact with fuel and air over the years. The blue ones look okay. So I may just replace all these bottom 4. Or maybe I'll try one and see how it fits and make sure it fits like these do. Alright, so I decided to go with new O-rings on the outlet side of the injectors. And all I did, as per the manual, I put a light coat of oil on all the new O-rings. And I actually put a light coat of oil on the old ones as well, just to kind of maybe condition them a little bit. They actually feel pretty good. They're not hard. They still feel, you know, fairly new. Now, the only difference that you'll notice by looking at them, and they should be the same, I believe, is that these look a little flatter, and I'm guessing that's just because they actually have been squished up inside of the fuel rail. So they're actually a perfect fit. They fit on there really tight, just like the old ones did. And when they were off, they're the exact same inner diameter and everything. But they do have a little bit of a flatter look to them. But I think that's just because they've been squished inside of the fuel rail for so long. I did keep the old ones, and if I find out that I needed them for something else and they weren't actually for this, I will go back and change them out if I have to. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up. I'm just going to wipe down the fuel rail. I'm going to scrub up the runner, and I'm going to scrape off the old gaskets, and then I'm going to put it back together. So while I wait for the intake runner to soak in the Purple Power, I'm going to go ahead and pack up my old cylinder head. So I ordered this head from Cylinder Heads International, better known as Heads Only, I think, on eBay. Pretty popular place to get replacement and remanufactured cylinder heads. I have nothing bad to say about them as far as the head that I got. I checked the seat, made sure it was in spec as far as how flat it was. The head was fine, and there was very, very minimal dents and dings in the head. So nothing but good things to say about these guys for now. You do have to return a like head back to them. So basically, they sent me a head with new valves and spring, or they had new valves in it and replacement springs, new valve seats. So I have to send the exact same thing back to them, my old one. And that is it, sitting right there on the floor. I checked with them. You don't have to clean it up for them or anything. And it actually doesn't matter what condition it's in. It could be, destroyed, just bombed, a lot worse than mine. And they'll take it. It doesn't matter what's wrong with it. But they require you to send the core back. And you have to do it within, if I read the instructions right, you have to do it within 30 days or you will get charged. I'm not sure how strict they are on that policy, but I've had this for about 2 weeks. I'm not sure how long the shipping takes. So I'm going to try to go ahead and get it out this weekend. When you get the box, it'll be packed like this. And this is like the spray foam, I think. It's like they spray foam in here and sit the replacement head in. And it's got a top for it as well. But keep the box. You send it back in the box it came in. It'll come with the packing slip. This is the return postage. So you will post is prepaid, so you don't have to pay to ship this head back to them. Your head back to them. This is your receipt. Keep that. Check your head and make sure one last time that you have everything off of it that you need, and make sure it has everything in it that it was supposed to have going back to them. The last thing, I think actually, if you don't send it back in full, I think they may actually cancel your warranty too. Mention that in case anyone was interested in how that comes and how that process works. So if you remember when I cleaned out this the intake manifold here, you'll remember that I had to knock this plug out. And it was sealed in there originally pretty well. But I don't think it had any silicone around it, so I'm not sure how airtight it was. But it fit, it fit in there pretty uniformly. I figured a little bead of silicone around the inside edge would have sealed it off pretty well, since I kind of deformed it a little bit when I took that plug out. And I didn't like the way that looked. There were still a few very small gaps around the outside edge. So I took some high temperature gasket making silicone, and I coated that around the lip there. So if I ever need to take that plug back out, it'll certainly come back out. But it has a bead of silicone in the inside edge, and it has a bead of silicone on the outside edge now. So I think that's going to hold up pretty well, and that's going to be pretty airtight there. Alright, so I've got this cleaned up and assembled. Well, I'd hesitate to call it clean, but it's cleaner than it was. So I took all this off, I put the injectors back in, and the injectors went in really easy once it's clean, and you have the O-rings oiled a little bit. So that worried me for a minute, and then, they're obviously not going to move with the fuel rail bolted in. They're all oiled up lightly, the O-rings. But anyway, it's definitely cleaner than it was. I mean, you can see the butterflies now. It's certainly not clean. I soaked this for a couple hours tonight, and it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. So that's going to have to do for this. And that's about all I'm going to have time to do tonight. If it's nice tomorrow, I think I may go ahead and start taking the pistons out. We'll see. If it's going to be a nice day, I'll have time to do quite a bit tomorrow.